Hello everybody, I'm Gamester522 and welcome to more Kingdom Hearts. In this part, we're going to be tackling all the Gummi ship missions. So I hope you guys are ready for the long haul, or you could just choose to ignore this episode because maybe the Gummi ship missions might not be your kind of thing. But anyway, as you see here, I have a list of all the Gummi ship missions. You can just go ahead and select whatever one you want to see, one that you might be having trouble with. And I will say that with regards to Gummi ship builds, I'm following ItsGamingFancy's guide on the Gummi ship missions. I'll post a link. I'll post links in the description for his videos because this was the first time I was doing Gummi missions, and his videos do a lot better of explaining it than I do. So if you want actual shown Gummi ship builds, then check out his videos because he does a better job of explaining it than I do. I pretty much follow the same setups he does, so I just wanted to go ahead and credit him. So, It's Gaming Fancy, thanks for creating those videos. I mean, it helped me. It definitely helped me. So, another thing worth mentioning, I was originally going to have this video just me not even here. Like, I was just going to have music over it while the Gummi ship missions were being done. But then again, since these Gummi ship missions get a bit convoluted, I kind of didn't want to just leave you guys alone because some of these might require a bit of an explanation. So, go ahead and select whatever Gummi ship mission you want to see or might be having trouble with. And if you just want to start from the beginning, you don't have to do anything. And without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. Okay, now starting things off, we have Traverse Town Gummi ship mission number 2. Set off from Olympus Coliseum and collect 30 or more shield blocks. This one is one of the more easier ones. You just got to make sure you have Osmos or Drain on, that way you can scoop up all of the yellow ovals. That's what the shield blocks are, those yellow ovals right there. You just basically have to collect 30 or more of them by the time you get to Traverse Town. Now, you may be wondering why we didn't do Traverse Mission Town 1 first, and that's because we kind of accidentally did it already, so if we kind of accidentally did it with no explanation, then it probably wasn't even that bad. You can see I got a trophy right there. Now, here's the first one that you do that's pretty, well, it's pretty tricky. Set off from Hollow Bastion and get a 0 score while taking no damage. Use of shield is prohibited. So, basically you have no shield and you get hit once, you have to start over. Now, the way you want to do this one is you want to make a very small Gummi ship like the one I have here. I have Comet and I have a haste, that way I can accelerate, but to make it go by faster. Basically, you just want to make that ship and then a clone of another ship just like that. And then you just want to transform between them because you get iframes whenever you're transforming. At least that's how I managed to do that one. You'll understand it if you do it yourself. But here we have Wonderland Mission 2. Set off for Wonderland. Use 5 or more haste blocks without taking any damage. In other words, you just have to try and boost 5 or more times without getting hurt. For this one's really simple. You just gotta brake every single time you're not boosting and wait for your boost to fill up, and then you just pretty much just go off from there. Okay, now this is one of the more easier level 3 ones. Set off from Traverse Town and collect 40 or more Gummi blocks. And Gummi blocks are the blocks that are like the little diamond shaped blocks that are dropped by enemies. Not too bad. Now we get into Deep Jungle Mission 1. This one's really simple. Obtain a score of 200 or higher. Just basically just kill everything you see and then just use Osmos or Drain whenever you're near something. I'd preferably prefer Osmos just because it might be better. I mean, its range probably could be better. I've never really tested them out. Now, as regards to Gummi ship builds I use for most of these, like I said before, I'm following It's Gaming Fancy's guide, so if you want to see the Gummi ship builds he uses, then that's probably the best video to go to. But as you can see, the orange Gummi ship I'm using right now is actually a little custom Gummi ship that I made for my own personal use, which I think it turned out pretty good. Anyway, Deep Jungle Mission 2, set off from Agrabah and collect 10 or more special blocks. Now, special blocks are basically the star blocks that are dropped from the gigantic meteors. So, you can collect 10 of those as long as you destroy all the meteors that you can see, and then you'll pretty much just be fine. I mean, it's a rather simple mission. There's something important I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I do want to mention that, like, later on, power, or the blue bar over there, I guess you could say, call it energy. I'm just going to call it energy just for the sake of it makes more sense that way. One thing I want to mention is that there are going to be some Gummi Ship missions that'll be they'll be pretty energy reliant, despite the fact that there's not really much energy for you to grab to even restore it. But we'll get to I just wanted to mention that now, so I didn't have to do it later. Alright. Deep Jungle Mission 3, set off from Wonderland with only Thundaga as a weapon, and destroy 55 or more enemy ships. Now, this one, you kind of have to kind of break yourself for it. I mean, the way that Thundaga works is that it fires powerful missiles, but it fires at very, very slow intervals, as you can clearly see. Of course, like, I've sped the video up so it doesn't look that slow, but yeah, trust me, this weapon fires really, really slow. There's pretty much not much else to it. Just break whenever you can, and just destroy as many enemy ships as you can. Sometimes they explode, and like they explode kind of like midway when they're flying, and like the explosion can just kind of like deal damage. I mean, like, I felt like that little group of enemies that just went by me was probably like the most points you're probably gonna get really throughout this route. Alright, next we got Olympus Coliseum Mission 1, obtain a score of 180 or higher. This one's not that bad, just kill everything, get everything, not too much to it. Yeah, it's pretty much all there is to it, just basically destroy everything, use Drain or Osmos, whatever you feel like it, and then you're pretty much good. Next we got Olympus Coliseum Mission 2, set off from Deep Jungle with only Thundara as a weapon, destroy 70 or more enemy ships. Now, this one's not that bad, you just kind of have to wait for the enemies to get close to you, because the way Thundara works on the Gummi ship is that it fires laser beams to the side, like in a diagonal direction. It never fires it like directly in front of you. So, I mean, sure, it kind of makes it a little hard to kind of hit things from a distance, and once they get really close to you, then like they get destroyed really easily, because it's kind of like a shotgun blast radius when it's like up in your face, so they can't really like avoid that if they get right in front of you. Now, the next one is probably one of the more harder ones. This is set off from Traverse Town, destroy all 140 obstacles. Now, here you just want to make a Gummi ship with like a bunch of reveals on, so that way you can see the hidden meteors you can destroy. Now, all obstacles include every single like obstacle there is. Like all these all these little like purple and those orange like wall things. You have to destroy all of those. So I would say, I mean, I don't remember my setup exactly, but you just kind of want to have like an Ultima. You want to have like Ultima Gummies, and you want to have a bunch of lasers just to kind of make your life easier. Now, just remember that you do want to pick up like energy whenever you need it, and the stars, like I'm just picking up right there, that are dropped by the meteors. That's a completely full refill. It fully restores your energy and your armor. But it's pretty tricky, but you just have to break a lot and then you'll get it down. Okay, next we have Agrabah Mission 1. Obtain a score of 330 or higher. Now, this one's not so bad. I mean, I just basically took the route from, what was it? Yeah, I took the route from Deep Jungle to the portal next to Olympus Coliseum, and I just basically went into the portal, and then make sure that when you come out of the portal you take a left, because the left takes you to Agrabah. Because if you go right, then you just end up running into either Monstro or going to Atlantica, which we don't want that. Now, getting the score is not that bad with all the enemies flying around in this portal pathway, and you just keep shooting constantly and just use Osmos, yada yada yada. See, I'm like well over the score needed right here, just because my Gummi ship is a boss. Can't deny it. Okay, next is Agrabah Mission 2. Set off from Wonderland with only Comet G as a weapon and destroy 130 or more enemy ships. Now, this one's not as bad as it sounds, because Comet G is actually a laser weapon, and the way the laser weapons work, especially a Comet, is that it locks onto an enemy and then it fires. Though the only downside to it is that it does use energy to fire. So I guess maybe having Osmos on would probably make your life a little bit easier. along with all these. See, like, if it says you can only use one type of weapon, then you just want to put as much of that one weapon on your Gummi ship as you can. Like, as you can see, I have like 8 comets equipped into my Gummi ship, so that's why you see so many lasers. Or is it 8? Yeah, I think it's 8. Yeah. So just basically keep going forward, break when you need to, and just destroy all the enemy ships that you see. And there's not really much to this one. Okay, Agrabah Mission 3. Collect 130 or more Gummi blocks. Use of Drain or Osmos is prohibited. Now this one is basically, like, I guess you could say traditional, just like gather them up kind of Gummi mission. It's just where you can't use anything that'll just pull the stuff towards you, which isn't that bad because, like, you just kind of wait for the enemies to just pile up in front of you and then just kind of kill them, and then you just kind of like fly forward and pick most of it up. And make sure you do break when you have to, just in case there might be one that you could possibly grab. It's no big deal. I mean, this Gummi ship mission isn't really that bad if you're just a little careful. And plus, they give you so many enemies with, like, they throw so many enemies in front of you. It's not even that bad. As you can see, looking at my Gummi ship, I just have only Thunder Gummies, Thunder G's equipped, and I kind of like spread them out. That way, I can increase my my firing spread. That way it makes it easier for me to hit them. So yeah. Next we got Halloween Town Mission 1. Collect 20 or more power blocks. Now this one's not that bad. Just make sure you have your your reveal gummies on your Gummi ship. That way you can see the hidden like blue asteroids that you destroy, because I'm trying to remember what the power blocks are. I believe that they are the blue ones. I believe, yeah, they are the blue ones. So you just gotta find the blue energy blocks that are dropped only from like blue meteors. So that's why you want reveal Gummi. That way you can reveal as much of the blue meteors as you can, the asteroids as you can. That way it can make your life a whole lot easier. Next we got Halloween Town Mission 2. Destroy 220 more enemy ships without using the brakes. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It just means you can't ever press the X button, pretty much. If you just use like if you just use ItsGamingFancy's like basic Gummi ship setup, then it's not that big of a deal. Just basically just kind of like aim and shoot, destroy anything you see if you can, and that's pretty much all there is to it. There's not much to this number 2. Next we got Halloween Town Mission 3. Set off from Neverland with only Meteor G as a weapon and obtain a score of 550 or higher. Now, you do want to have Osmos here, and having Meteor G, it's basically one step below the Ultimate G, and it's not that bad because it still does the same thing that Comet does, but except it's more powerful. So just like kind of like deck yourself out. I mean, I kind of spread my lasers out, just so I can like give myself a bigger target range, because getting a score of 550 means you kind of have to like use Osmos correctly and destroy a whole bunch of enemies. I mean, it's not really a terrible level 3 missions. I mean, it's not as bad as the ones later on, but it's still doable. Next we got Neverland Mission 1. Set off from Atlantica with only Thunder G as a weapon and destroy 150 enemy ships. Again, I'm using the same build that I did before when I was trying to get the Gummi blocks from enemies without using Osmos. Just basically spread your lasers out, and then you can hit things with a wider range. That's pretty much all there is to it, really. I mean, not much else to be said. Just destroy any enemies that you see. Next, we got Neverland mission number 2. Use 100 or more gummy blocks and set off from Olympus Coliseum. Arrive in Neverland without taking any damage. Now, the way I did this one is that I had a whole bunch of thunders in front of me so I could destroy obstacles. And then basically, I just basically put a whole bunch of, like, gummy blocks, like, in the back. That way, it's just all, like, behind my ship. And yes, I did kind of, like, save clone it so that way I could transform back in between them so I could use Osmos to get myself some iframes. I mean, this gummy ship mission isn't really that bad. I mean, the reason why I have 2 holy engines on is just because I can get through it faster. Because the way that enemies work in the gummy ship missions is that they keep their normal speed, like even if you're boosting, but if you're boosting then you're speeding up the course. So you're not changing the enemy's speed when you're boosting, you're changing up the pace at which you're going through the course. Just remember that when you come out of that portal there, you make sure you go right, so you go the right direction. Okay, Neverland Mission 3. Use 10 or fewer gummy blocks and set off from Olympus Coliseum. Destroy 777 or more obstacles. Now this one was a bit tricky. You just kind of have to like use you pretty much have to use like lasers and Ultima, but you don't want to rely too heavily on it. Because having 10 or fewer gummy blocks just kind of makes it a little bit difficult. But if you just break all the time and just kind of like just pretty much just take your time, that's not that big of a deal. And I don't have a reveal gummy on because if I did, then I'd probably be going over my gummy limit for this mission. But I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, I guess it could be kind of hard. I mean, I just don't have any remembering of difficulty with doing this one. Just pretty much just slow down, take your time, and just destroy as many obstacles as you can. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, as I said, ItsGamingFancy does a better job of explaining this than I do. So, yeah. Yeah, the meteors in this little pathway right here probably could give you the most points because there's just quite a lot of obstacles for you to shoot at and destroy. Make sure you hang right there. That way you don't accidentally go to Hollow Bastion. Alright, now moving on to Atlantica. Now the first Atlantica mission is really simple. Collect 10 or more armor blocks. I mean, there's not really much to that. You just want to like equip your reveal gummies, destroy blue asteroids, and pick up the green diamond shaped blocks that the meteors drop. I mean, there's not much to it. It's basically the health blocks. Collect 10 or more of them. Not much else really to be said there. Really simple mission. Though I would recommend that you take the route from Neverland to Atlantica. It more or less depends. It depends on whether you have Monstro in your way or not. Alright, Atlantica Mission 2. keep all obstacles intact, and have a score of 240 or higher. Now, the Atlantica missions are probably like the harder ones of the game, because basically you just have to destroy all the enemies and get like a really high score without destroying any obstacles that are in the way. In other words, like any like asteroids or like wall panels or anything that you see, you cannot destroy any of those. So you do kind of have to be careful though, because some of them can just be destroyed in this like one shot. Now, once you get your score over 140, just pretty much ride the rest of the way out. Like, do not shoot anything. That way, it'll make your life easier. Now, because I have Monstro on the path that I'm taking, I just had to keep doing this until I got lucky, and then Goofy was just like, "Hey, looks like Monstro isn't here." So, I mean, I had to go through this twice, so it did kind of like aggravate me a bit. It's just that I didn't know that like Monstro could be spawned like right between Halloween Town and Agrabah. But yeah, so yeah, just pretty much just be really careful where you shoot and just don't hit any obstacles. Now, this is probably like the hardest Gummi ship mission. This one took me a really long time to do. This one is avoid all items and obtain a score of 260. Basically, you want to destroy as much as you can without collecting anything. Now, what I did with the Gummi ship mission, like I said, ItsGamingFancy has a better explanation of how it's done. Is what I did is I did what he did, and I just put like thunder gummies and like laser gummies in the front, and I put 4 thunder G's like in the back. That way, enemies that pass right behind me, I can just like fire and hopefully get them. Now, this one I may make this one look easy, but trust me, this one's a lot harder than it looks. But once you hit the 260 mark, then you just pretty much have to ride the rest of the way out. The only problem with that is that if you just happen to get Monstro in your way, then you have to restart the entire thing, which that happened to me like a good 4 or 5 times when I made it this far. So that's a bit of a heads up. So for those of you who probably spawned Monstro on the other path that heads towards Halloween Town from Agrabah, then you pretty much have it a lot easier than I do. And the reason why I'm taking this path is because this path gives you the most points, and it's probably the most easiest one. I mean, I didn't want to try any other path just because it didn't seem like it was long enough. So yeah, this one might take a few tries, but like I said, ItsGamingFancy kind of explains it better. So just make sure you just pretty much follow this setup, and hopefully you'll be good to go. Alright, now moving on to Hollow Bastion. We're almost done. So, set off from Neverland with only Ultima G as a weapon and destroy 130 or more enemy ships. Now, this one's not that bad just because the way Ultima G works is a laser weapon, but once it hits something, it like curves around and hits the next target around it a few times. So, it's basically a gummy that just kind of like flies around and hits multiple times. Now, make sure you have Osmos to collect any of the energy things that you can, because since it is a laser weapon, it does use energy. So just kind of want to get as many lock-ons as you can, just kind of like fire whenever you see enemies. I mean, it's not too bad. You should be able to get it, but just make sure you make your shots count. Okay, next is Hollow Bastion Mission 2. This one actually took me a few tries. Now, this one is obtain a score of 1600 or higher. Now, you pretty much just want to break whenever necessary, and then just destroy every single thing that you see. But at the same time, you cannot waste too much of your energy, just because you won't be able to use Osmos to scoop any of it up. Because there are some gummy ships that just go out of your range, and then you just will not be able to like pick any of them up, no matter how far left or right you go. Now, I'd say the most points you can get is probably through this like little asteroid area right here, just because at the start there are some meteors with like some like special gummies that can give you some full refills. This is where you can kind of spam your lasers and just kind of like spam Osmos when you have a whole bunch of things grouped up around you. Just don't run out of energy. When you're trying to use Osmos and you're out of energy, then it's really frustrating. So you just kind of have to learn how to conserve your Osmos correctly. Otherwise, it's just gonna aggravate you. So it's gonna aggravate you just because it's just like, oh, I can't get those now. It took me a few tries, but it's not impossible. I mean, the fact that I did do it, I guess I'm saying that it's not as bad now. But yeah. See, as you can see right there, there's a bunch of stuff that I passed up because I ran out of energy to use Osmos, because Osmos uses one energy in the meter, and so you just always make sure that like when you're destroying stuff, try not to use, if you have just like one left, try not to use lasers and wait until there's like more energy blocks around you and then scoop them up. That way you can scoop up other gummy blocks and stuff that are around you. Just hang left there, that way you make your way to Hollow Bastion. Now, yeah, as you can see, I barely got that score past 1600. Now, moving on to Mission 3, this one's, I guess, this one's pretty much easier compared to the second one anyway. It's basically saying use haste 2G 10 or more times without taking damage. Use of shield is prohibited. Now, this is the same as that one earlier, that where you had to Wonderland, where you had to use haste or haste 2 boosts 5 or more times without taking damage. But the only difference between this one is that you kind of have to know, you're gonna have to like know where to use it. Like I used like a boost right there before the portal, that way it counts. But at the same time, I'm not boosting when I come out. See, the thing is though, is that there are some walls on the way to Hollow Bastion, so you kind of have to time your boost that way, like, because you can't break mid boost. So if you're boosting and you run and you just like getting to a wall and you're still in the length of your boost, then you're just gonna run into it and you have to start over. So you just kind of have to like time your boosts. I'd say just like play the course like a couple of times just so you can understand like the layout, and then just pretty much know like where's like the best areas to boost just to make your life easy. See right here, I can't boost at all even though I could, just because of how many like walls are in my way. So there's nothing I could really do about that. And I just said really twice in one sentence, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, to be honest, I feel like this Gummi Ship mission was a lot easier than the second one. It still took me a while, though. I mean, in the end, I'll tell you guys how long it took me, how long this video actually was. It basically included all my failed attempts and everything before I edited all those out. Now we move on to the final Gummi Ship missions. End of the World Mission 1. Use 2 or fewer gummy blocks and arrive without taking any damage or using the brakes. Now, first off, you really should never have to use the brakes for a mission like this one if you want to get through it as fast as possible. Make sure you have your transform stuff. Make sure you have this gummy ship like duplicated so you can transform to it to get iframes when you need it. Just basically have a cockpit and a holy engine, and then you should be fine. Now, moving on to Gummi Ship Mission 2, use 5 or fewer gummy blocks and obtain a score of 350 or higher. Now, this one's not really that bad if you just time your osmosis correctly. The only thing that kind of sucks with it is that this, like, as I was saying, like, back in, like, back on the early missions, I think Olympus Coliseum, how, like, some of these missions might not be, like, energy reliant. This is one of them. Just because there's hardly any energy for you to grab. So it just makes it a lot harder for you to like manage your osmosis, because there could be instances where there's like a crap ton of like gummy blocks for you to pick up with osmos to get a really high score, but if you use it there, you'll just end up running out, and you could just end up getting a lot more points later on, but you couldn't use osmos because you didn't have the energy to do so. At the very end here, there's a whole bunch of these blocks right here. You can get all those pretty much for a full energy refill. I mean, this one's not that bad, but I feel like the next one might be considered worse. Alright, so it's time for the final Gummi Ship mission of the game. This one is End of the World Mission 3. Obtain a score of 600 or higher. Now, this one may not sound that bad, but trust me, it is. This one took me a really long time in order to do. It's not as hard as the Atlantica Avoid All Collectibles one, but yeah. Now, like I said, ItsGamingFancy does a better job of explaining it, but I'll do my best here. Basically, when you get to the asteroid belt, you just want to be on the brakes the whole time, and you basically want to fire your lasers like every 5 or 6 seconds. That way you can pretty much destroy them. And try to avoid using osmos unless it's absolutely necessary, because you want to have a good amount of energy when you get to this point, just so you can just like pick up all the gummy blocks that the enemies around here will drop. Now, I will say this Gummi Ship mission is somewhat luck dependent, just because you could destroy some blue asteroids and not get a single energy orb, which that's happened to me several times. Now, basically, when you get to the Omega ships here, you just basically want to spam your lasers and try and destroy as many as you can, because these small numbers make a difference towards the end. And then once you get to the very end, it's for the final hull. Just basically slow down, use osmos if you need to, spam your lasers, and you're pretty much done. You're good to go. And with that, once all the Gummi Ship missions are completed, then you just go ahead and check your Gummi Ship missions list, and Chip and Dale will congratulate you on completing every single Gummi Ship mission in the game, and they'll give you the blueprint for Bahamut and the crown gummy piece. So just going over it one more time, as you guys can see, the red Mickey head tells you that all the Gummi Ship missions have been completed for that world, and we've pretty much done it. The very first time I've ever done all the Gummi Ship missions. Now, as I said earlier, I might as well tell you guys, I'm warping the Olympus Coliseum for the next part. But this video in total was probably about like 7 hours long. Yes, I literally sat down for like 7 hours doing nothing but these Gummi Ship missions. And as you can see, I managed to shave it down to as long as it is now. But with that, the Gummi Ship missions are all done. Now, in the next video, of course, like I'm post-commentating this like after I've already recorded this video, but in the next video it's going to be more of a Gummi Ship cleanup, but that video shouldn't be too long, so yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it, guys. So gonna go ahead and save it in this video off. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Gummi Ship missions. I don't know if it's helped any of you, but yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video. We'll finish up everything Gummi related, and then we'll move on to the awesome stuff. So, thank you guys again. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Till then, see you then. Nope. I'm flipping out. Okay, we're good. Yeah, you guys can see how freaking long this stage is. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Go to heck. Oh, and there we go. Bam. Leviathan. Winning! Alright, so we just gotta finish this course. Which is good because on our way to Hollow Bastion, we actually need to go to end of